G'day guys, Seeney here, and welcome to another episode on the Australian Wealth channel. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about how I managed to build a $3 million property portfolio within 2 years. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Really helps to get these videos out to more people. So some of you guys have been subscribed to this channel for a long time. I'm sure there's going to be some new people that are going to be discovering this video. So what I wanted to do was share my story about how I built a $3 million property portfolio comprised of 4 properties in the space of a couple of years. So there's a lot of things that I did which I think were absolutely invaluable to building this property portfolio quite quickly, and I want to share those with you guys. If you're an intermediate or an advanced property investor, you probably know a lot of this stuff, but this is a video that I want to gear towards the beginners so they can understand at an absolute grassroots level of how I went from $0 worth of property all the way up to $3 million in only a couple of years. So the start of my property journey all started with myself and also my fiance, who is now my wife, as you can see. And what we wanted to do was we wanted to buy our family home, a place that we could live together in the area that we really like to live in. So what we did over the course of time is we built up a 20% deposit. So when we purchased this particular house where we live, we paid $819,000. So the deposit that we had to save up was quite substantial. I think it was around $180,000, something like that. So I am leaving that out of the property equation. This is something that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to build up a deposit of some kind for your first property. There's no two ways around it, unfortunately. So we decided that we wanted to take a much safer route and go a 20% deposit, which means we're paying less interest on our primary place of residence. So a lot of people will change this up. They'll start by getting investment properties and then they will buy a family home later on. For us, we wanted to live together and we didn't want to rent, so it made a lot of sense for us to buy. So we saved up our deposit and we bought our first property. Now this was a really important step for us to get our foot into the door of the property market. Now this of course was a purchase that was primarily so that we would have somewhere to live. However, something else that we did with this purchase was make sure it was also a very smart investment decision. A lot of the things that we wanted in a property also aligned with what was going to be really important with an investment. This particular property is close to public transport. It's close to a lot of amenities. It's very central. And over the course of a couple of years, that really drove the appreciation, which was absolutely key for the rest of this story. So as I said, we purchased this property for over $800,000, and what we did was we continued to work as this property was getting built, and by the time we got into this property, we were pretty much ready to go with another 10% deposit on a cheaper property. So the most important thing I can impart, especially at this early stage, is to work. You really have to work and make sure you have some cash behind you so that you can go and purchase properties. So not long after we were in this house, we jumped into our second property, which we purchased up in the Redland Bay region in Queensland. Now we purchased this in a time where there was a lot of insecurity around the pandemic. No one knew what was going to happen, but of course we knew that this was a property, the area had a very low rental vacancy, and on top of that, it was absolutely primed for growth. So this property we purchased for $550,000. So of course we need to save up that 10% deposit. So that was around $55,000. Of course, on top of that, you have stamp duty and other costs. Now, the reason that we could go from 1 into 2 very quickly was because of income. Now, serviceability is absolutely key when you're growing a property portfolio, and I don't think it's talked about enough. A lot of people go and negatively gear properties, and what happens is if you have properties that are negatively geared, it's eating into your borrowing power, it reduces your serviceability. So from the get-go, any investment property that we were going to buy, it was crucial that this was going to be cash flow positive, and this property is cash flow positive by a long way. We're getting a rental return of $530 a week on this particular property, which is fantastic. And with the vacancy rate as low as it is, there is definitely an opportunity there for that to increase. So our serviceability was really good, and we made sure that the property was positively cash flowed. That's going to be really important going forward over the next couple of years as rates continue to rise. So as this property was getting built, we continued to work really hard, make sure that we were saving lots of money and continuing to make sure that our income was really strong. Now, fortunately for us, we came through at a very, very good period in time where the entire property market across the country has gone up quite dramatically. And our properties were no different, but this is where it took a little bit of knowledge to take advantage of that. So to get property 3 and 4, they pretty much happened at the same time because we were initially going through the process of getting our 3rd investment property when the 4th one came along, which was an incredible deal, which we couldn't pass up. It's about 50, 60 grand's worth of equity that was built in due to a failed contract from someone previously, and we were able to get ourselves through the door and get that property well under market value. So these next 2 properties came not from our income because we obviously used that on the last 2 property purchases, but from equity. So because the property market has appreciated so much in a short period of time, what we were able to do was do what's called a cash out refinance. Now that means that if a property that you own has gone up in value, what you can do is you can take additional money out of that property. So for example, let's say that the place that we're in is worth $800,000 when we bought it and we put 20% down. So over time, the property continues to appreciate in value as it did in this particular case, and now it's worth 1.2 million, but let's say 1 million just for argument's sake. There's $200,000 worth of additional equity there. So you can borrow up to 80% of the value of this property, take that extra cash, take the difference, and then you can use that as a deposit on the next property that you want to buy. So for property number 3, this actually came from a cash out refinance from one of our other properties. So we took the deposit, which was money from the cash out refinance, and then we could finance the rest with another bank. So we did this not only for property number 3, but also for property number 4. With property number 4, we actually tipped in a little bit extra of our own money so we could get it close to 20%. But 2 of our properties we did with 10% down, and we copped the lender's mortgage insurance. So the one thing that was really key to this was making sure that our serviceability was really strong. All of our properties, as I said, are positively geared, which means they're making us money. They're putting money into our pockets every single month, which is absolutely crucial when it comes to serviceability. And the other thing that's really important is income. You need to make sure that you are building your skills so that you can boost your income to a really strong level. And that's going to help you with your serviceability. So the only reason that we could have got these 4 across the line so fast is because our serviceability was strong. So it's really important to note that whatever you're doing, you need to make sure that your serviceability is also strong. So now we have 4 properties, which of course have appreciated in value over time. We have one that's still getting built and some that we bought under market value, which means that we've seen probably an appreciation of about $1 million, I'd say, in the last couple of years. Now, given it is strange times and the property market has gone up a lot, but this is a principle that also works in the long term. It might not be as sudden as 2 years. From now, it might be 5 years into the future that you'll see some appreciation. But if you're buying good quality properties, there's always going to be demand for them. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. If you have any questions about how I did it, then please leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you guys. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe. My name is Seeney from the Australian Wealth Channel. We'll see you later.